Good morning. Welcome to San Diego State University's 2017 commencement ceremonies for the College of Professional Studies and Fine Arts. I am Dean Joyce Gaddis. Please rise as the joint ROTC Color Guard presents the colors, and please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem led by voice performance major Miss Amanda Olea of the School of Music and Dance.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the fair and the home of the brave.
Now we'll have the color guard and present the colors. Please be seated. Commencement is one of the best days in the academic life of the university. Everyone in this arena is filled with great joy and Aztec pride. Everybody's happy. Today is even made more special as we celebrate Mother's Day. Mothers are our first teachers and mentors. They have hopes and dreams, endless hopes and dreams for you, unconditional praise and acceptance, and a deeply rooted faith in your success. So I'm going to ask that all the mothers, grandmothers, and great-grandmothers who are sitting in the audience here and around the arena to please stand and let us wish you a very happy Mother's Day. Like all mothers, fathers, and families in the audience, we at San Diego State want you to lead happy, healthy, and productive lives. Together and individually, you are charged with becoming the next leaders. As the dean of this college, I know that you are well prepared to do so. Today, we are graduating the future artists, dancers, designers, filmmakers, actors, musicians, graduates who are prepared to tackle important government and policy issues that impact all of us, journalists, advertising and public relations professionals who will use the media in a responsible and objective manner, and graduates who've been taught effective communication skills, which are so important to everyone. Perhaps more important than your individual disciplines and your future career paths, you have learned to work collaboratively with individuals from different disciplines, backgrounds, beliefs, and passions. You've also had the opportunity to work with your professors to conduct applied research or creative activity that directly impacts the public good. Many of you have completed internships that helped you truly experience the pulse of the everyday workplace and also to be more workplace ready. Finally, for those of you who have studied abroad, you will leave here today with a global perspective that will help you celebrate different cultures and to understand that as a human race, we are more similar than dissimilar, and that in fact, it's bridges, not walls, that attest to our humanity. And it is our excellent faculty who have ensured that you are ready for this next journey. I would like to recognize the faculty who have played an important role in your success and who are on the stage today. I'd ask them, they're here to celebrate with you. So I please ask them to stand and be recognized. Now, as you commence into this next phase of your life, it's time to trust in yourself. In your years at San Diego State, you have learned to lead and to serve. Be bold, explore, take risks, calculated and intelligent risks, continue to grow, push yourself outside your comfort zone. Try to think yes before you say no to an opportunity. We need you. We need your critical thinking skills, your creativity, your imagination, to think beyond disciplinary boundaries. We need your energy and we need your diversity. The world is in need of thinkers and problem solvers and innovators who serve the greater good. You are ready. You are Aztec proud. So what are you? Aztec proud. Let's hear it one more time. Aztec proud. Congratulations. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Provost and Senior Vice President of San Diego State University, Dr. Chukwuka Nwameka.
Thank you, Dean Gatters. It is my pleasure to introduce the following colleagues and guests in attendance today. Please stand as I call your name and remain standing until all have been recognized. And please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Representing the university, Honorary Doctorate recipient, Dr. Jack McGrory. California State University trustee, Mr. Adam Day. Vice President for Business and Financial Affairs and Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Tom McCarron. Vice President for Student Affairs, Mr. Eric Rivera. Vice President for University Relations and Development, Ms. Mary Ruth Carlton. Vice President for Research and Dean of Graduate Affairs, Dr. Stephen Welther. Chair of the University Senate, Dr. Marcy Boba Michelle. Representing the SDSU Alumni Association, Mr. Greg Smith. University friend, our friend, and president of Moxie Foundation, Mr. Peter Zahn. And now for the College of Professional Studies and Fine Arts, of course, we have Dean Gatters. We have commencement speaker, Professor Bill Yeager. Honorary Grand Marshal and Director of the School of Communication, Dr. Bill Snavely. Director of the School of Arts and Design, Professor Kotaro Nakamura. Director of the Robert Payne School of Hospitality and Tourism Management, Professor Carl Winston. Director of the School of Journalism and Media Studies, Dr. Bei-Ling Shah. Director of the School of Music and Dance, Dr. Charles Fredericks. Director of the School of Public Affairs, Dr. Stuart Henry. Director of the School of Theater, Television, and Film, Dr. DJ Hopkins. Representing our ROTC units, Air Force Captain April Bothin, Navy Lieutenant Kelly Wheely, and Professor of Military Science Scott Hodgdon. Please join me in welcoming all of them with a round of applause. You may be seated. And finally, it is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you the President of San Diego State University, Dr. Elliot Hirschman.
Well, good morning and welcome. What a great pleasure it is to join our entire community in congratulating our graduates. I also want to acknowledge the support of family members and friends, and happy Mother's Day to everyone. Congratulations also go to our dedicated faculty and staff members who have taught and mentored our students. To our graduates, today is a very special milestone. Reaching this milestone has required substantial personal sacrifice, and in this process, you've grown personally, professionally, and intellectually. And for all of these reasons, we're paying tribute to you today. Now, in academic tradition, graduation is referred to as commencement. Thus, today is a beginning as well as an ending. Today, you are joining the proud tradition of San Diego State University alumni. It is a tradition that is first and foremost one of leadership and service. And our alumni serve our region, our nation, and the entire world by creating and building businesses, teaching the next generation, making scientific and creative contributions, advancing professions, and serving our government and our communities. And in every one of these fields, our alumni are innovators, entrepreneurs, and leaders. So now, as our society faces some very, very significant challenges, it's your turn to lead and to serve. We are certain that the hard work, perseverance, and intelligence that have helped you succeed here will ensure not just your future success, but that of our entire society. Congratulations, graduates. And now it's my great pleasure to present Chair of the University Senate, Marcy Bober-Michel.
As this day marks for many of you the end of your formal education, it also marks the end of the formal careers of some of your professors. Although they may have relinquished their classrooms, they'll continue their careers as scholars and valued contributors to the university. The faculty, through the University Senate, customarily honors its retiring colleagues with the title of Professor Emeritus. Their names are included in your program, but it is my pleasure to introduce the distinguished faculty member here today and present on the platform from the College of Professional Studies and Fine Arts. Please welcome Randy McKenzie, Assistant Dean of Student Affairs, 36 years of service. Randy, on behalf of your students and your colleagues, I thank you for your contributions to San Diego State and extend our best wishes on this next chapter. Thank you. Both my husband and my father served proudly in the Army, so I am pleased to be the one to ask you to pay tribute to the San Diego State University students who put their education on hold in order to serve in the armed forces. We especially want to thank the veterans who are here today for their service to our nation. We thank you and appreciate your sacrifice. Please stand and be recognized. It's also fitting to remember our fellow faculty and students who we lost in the last year. Their names appear in the commencement program, and I ask that you join me in a moment of silence. Thank you.
We now take time in these proceedings to honor an individual who, by a life of service and excellence, has exemplified the goals of the university, its faculty, its students, and its staff. In the 120-year history of this university, only 45 such individuals have received this honor. The practice of awarding in honorary degrees, today the Doctor of Humane Letters, is a custom that can be traced back to the beginning of academic institutions and is the highest honor that such an institution can bestow. I ask our honoree, Mr. Jack McGrory, to join us at the podium. Mr. President and Trustee Day, I present Mr. Jack McGrory, honoree for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. California State University trustee, Mr. Adam Day, will now share with everyone why we are bestowing this honor on Mr. McGrory.
Thank you, Dean Gaddis, and good morning, and welcome graduates, family and friends, faculty, and staff. On behalf of Governor Brown and all of my colleagues on the Board of Trustees, it is truly an honor and privilege to take part in today's special ceremony. In the world of higher education, there is no more prestigious award than the granting of an honorary degree. This is not something for which you can apply. You do not get to nominate yourself. In fact, you will never know you were nominated until after our board makes a determination confidentially. The review process is complex, lengthy, and rigorous. A nominee and their qualifications are challenged and reviewed multiple times, both at the campus with review by Faculty Senate and by the Chancellor's Office. It is then further reviewed by a committee of trustees and ultimately the full board. To even be considered, the trustees' criteria are very stringent. First, to recognize inspirational character, excellence, and extraordinary achievement in significant areas of human endeavor that reflect the objectives and ideals of the California State University. Second, to honor meritorious and outstanding service to the California State University collectively or to individual campuses, to the state of California, to the United States of America, or to humanity at large. And third, to recognize individuals whose lives, conduct, and significant achievements serve as examples of the California State University's aspirations for its diverse student body. In short, we are extremely selective as we choose the best of the best amongst our midst. It is only fitting, therefore, that we honor one such individual today. I would now like to read the citation that accompanies the honorary degree. As a civic, business, and volunteer leader, Jack McGrory has spent most of his life in public and private service to San Diego, enhancing the quality of life and economic stability of the region. He has permanently impacted the city's urban legacy, enthusiastically supported San Diego State University, and generously served on a variety of nonprofit boards throughout the county. As city manager, Mr. McGrory placed high value on public-private partnerships, playing an important role in the development of Petco Park, which is linked to the redevelopment of the East Village. He helped San Diego secure Super Bowl XXII in 1988 and Super Bowl XXXII in 1998, and he led efforts to consolidate city and county government services. As chair and CEO of the Price Legacy Corporation, he led the City Heights Initiative, which resulted in a comprehensive and holistic redevelopment of that neighborhood. A former Marine with a Master of Public Administration degree from SDSU and a law degree from the University of San Diego, Mr. McGrory taught graduate courses in the School of Public Affairs at San Diego State. He has served as the chair of the Campanile Foundation, SDSU's philanthropic auxiliary, where he helped to steer the campaign for SDSU to its $750 million goal. As a donor, he supports the Jack McGrory Internship Coordinator in the School of Public Affairs. Each year, the coordinator places approximately 250 students in professional internships throughout San Diego while maintaining relationships with more than 50 public agencies. Mr. McGrory also funds tuition, internships, and study abroad scholarships for students and student veterans, has supported the chair of the Classics and Humanities Department, and has underwritten a staff position at SDSU's Joan and Art Barron Veterans Center, on whose board he serves. In the civic arena, he has provided guidance and expertise serving on the boards of the UCSD Board of Overseers, the USS Midway, the YMCA of San Diego and Imperial Counties, the San Diego River Park Foundation, Junior Achievement, mainly Mozart, and the USD Law School. Jack McGrory is an iconic San Diego leader, respected for his high energy, resourcefulness, and innovation. He encourages students, including his own children, to seek careers in public service.
I am exceedingly pleased that the university is able to honor Mr. Jack McGrory in this special way. On the recommendation of the faculty and on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the California State University, I hereby award you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all the honors, rights, and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations, Dr. McGrory.
Microphones are always difficult for me. Elliot said I had to kneel down to get this, and I almost did. I'm deeply honored to receive this recognition, and I really appreciate all the people who played a role in this. I want to recognize my wife, who's here, Una Davis, and we have a Brady Bunch, 7 children, all of whom are college graduates. So 3 lawyers, an MBA, and 3 college graduates. So to the parents here today, I appreciate how proud you must be, but even more importantly, this is their first step to get off the payroll. To Dean Gaddis, who's been my boss as I've taught out here for the past 25 years. She's been a great boss for the last 25, and I appreciate all of her support. I know she led this process, and it took a lot of work to get this done, this degree. And I want to thank the college faculty, the University Senate, President Hirschman, and Adam Day on the State Board of Trustees. I also want to thank all of the Campanile Foundation board members who are here. Through their leadership, we have raised $800 million towards the university. And to my fellow colleagues on the faculty of the biggest college of this university, you've been a major part of making San Diego State a prominent national university on our way to top 50 status. We are the beacon of the 23-campus California State University system. We owe all the faculty our gratitude and admiration. And what is most amazing is that the faculty of this university has given more than $70 million towards our campaign. Thank you. Elliot, you've done an amazing job as president the past 6 years, and I know that you are going to miss these graduations. You've been a prolific fundraiser, and you've done amazing things for the university. You've focused on national quality faculty, improving student graduation rates, and increasing our diversity. People have asked me why I enjoy working and being out here on campus so much, and having been involved in San Diego State for all this time. And mostly because San Diego State is such a great opportunity for first-generation college students like myself. 40% of you are first-generation students, and my parents didn't have the opportunity to go to college. My dad, when he was 18 in 1943, joined the Army and fought through the Pacific. He was one of the first-in troops with General MacArthur in Japan in 1945. There have been 3 areas that I've tried to focus on in the university. The first is the continued support of the study of the classics. We're our classics majors. They're here someplace. I was a classics major at Colgate, and so I think this is a very important area of study, to study the ancient civilizations. After college, I joined the Marine Corps. I went to the Officer Candidate School, at the University of Quantico. And my DI asked me the first week, he said, "College boy, what is a classics major?" I looked at him, I said, "You wouldn't understand. That cost me 50 push-ups." The second area is the School of Public Affairs. When I left the service, I came to work for the city of San Diego as a trainee on a federal employment program, and I started my MPA program that same month. I fell in love with this place. Seminars in Hepner Hall, amazing fellow students from the cities and the county, including even Greg Smith. Where's Greg? Hey, he's always got a few fans here. I had some great professors, Lou Ray, Glenn Sparrow, Marco Walshak. I'll always owe this group my thanks for giving me a foundation for good government. My last real love, my third love, is our veteran students. San Diego State has 1,000 veteran students and 2,000 dependents. We have what we think is the best veteran student program in America, led by Joan Putnam and Marine Staff Sergeant Todd Whitman, an infantry grunt like myself. So again, I thank you for this honor. I'm going to make sure my kids call me doctor from now on. And just a message to the graduates today, I congratulate you and hope that you will enjoy your careers as much as I have mine. Always try to be the best and do what is right. Follow your moral compass and adhere to the facts and the truth. There is no other way. Despite these times, words do matter, facts do matter, and the truth is important. We are a country founded on the principle of the rule of law. You will be judged by your honor and your character and your credibility. Your word is your bond. There is no room, nor should there be tolerance, for alternative facts, alternative universes, or pure lies and falsehoods. Words and facts do matter. One of the highest compliments I got in my city career was when I left from the Police Officers Association that represented 2,000 rank-and-file cops. For 14 years, every spring, I negotiated the labor contract with them. We went through limited strikes, civilian review boards, neighborhood policing, charter amendments, work actions. But when I left, they gave me a plaque and they mentioned some nice words about integrity and wisdom. But the one quote that they highlighted was, "You are indeed a man of your word." The highest compliment you can receive. As you approach your career, I encourage you to continue your education and pursue a career that you are passionate about. Don't be afraid to take risks. Seek out opportunities to continually improve yourself. Set high expectations. At the city, I went through 9 different jobs to finally get to city manager and 9 different promotions. The lesson there is to take advantage of the opportunities when they arise. Don't be complacent. Don't be afraid of new challenges and different positions and taking on tough assignments. Be true to your principles and face adversity with courage and boldness. You will experience successes and failures. Trust me, I've had many of both. But you will always be judged by your character and how you dealt with both. At the entry to the historic stadium in Wimbledon stands a quote from Rudyard Kipling, and I'll embellish this a little bit. If you can dream and not make dreams matter, if you can think but not make your thoughts aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those impostors just the same, yours is the earth and everything in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son. And finally, our responsibility as a faculty and parents was to give you the opportunity for a high-quality education. Your responsibility today is to make San Diego and America a better place to live. So thank you and congratulations on your accomplishment. Go Aztecs.
Thank you, Dr. McGrory. I am proud to introduce our commencement speaker, Professor William Yeager. Bill Yeager is a professor of music and director of the Jazz Studies program here at SDSU. He has a diverse musical background, both as a performer and a composer-arranger. He is a well-known studio jazz and classical trombonist and has performed on hundreds of records, films, and television shows. He has performed with Frank Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, Tony Bennett, Sarah Vaughan, Mel Torme, and Dizzy Gillespie, to name a few. He was recently inducted into the California Alliance for the Jazz Hall of Fame and has just returned from Germany after being invited by the German government to represent the United States at an international conference. Please welcome Professor Yeager.
Welcome and congratulations to the graduating class of 2017. You, your family, friends should all be proud of this important achievement in your lives. We all find our way through life, but not always in the same way. Some of you came to SDSU knowing exactly what your major and your future professions will be. Others of you came to SDSU as a means of discovering what your passion in life is. Still, others of you will get this degree and end up doing something completely different. My advice to you is to be prepared for any and all opportunities that are offered to you in life. You don't always end up doing exactly what you think you will be doing for your life's work. When I was in your shoes, I would have never imagined myself being a college professor. I knew I was going to be a musician ever since I was in the 4th grade and started playing the trombone. As an elementary school kid, being successful in music gave me added self-confidence. From this added self-confidence, I improved in all areas of my studies. I hope the knowledge and experiences you have gained at SDSU will also build your self-confidence in all your future endeavors. When I arrived at the University of North Texas as a 17-year-old freshman, there was no doubt that I would be a music major. In 1970, the University of North Texas was the largest music school in the United States and the most prestigious jazz studies program in the country. During my 6 years there, I was fortunate enough to break into the studio scene in Dallas and was able to gain a tremendous amount of professional performance experience. I felt I was now ready to take on an even bigger market, the studio scene in Los Angeles. Soon, I was playing on motion pictures like the Rocky movies, TV shows like Bob Hope and Hawaii Five-0, records with the likes of Ray Charles, as well as performing with many headliners that Dean Gaddis mentioned in my introduction. Some Grammy nominations came my way too. But there was something missing. I did not realize that teaching was such an important part of my life. This was a surprise to me, as I thought I was destined to be strictly a performer. This revelation sparked my founding the Los Angeles Jazz Workshop. The workshop attracted some of the finest musical talent in Southern California, and many of those students are now at the cutting edge of today's music scene. Some of my former LA Jazz Workshop students have been guest artists and clinicians here at San Diego State. All these experiences helped prepare me for my future at SDSU. Upon accepting my position at SDSU, I did not want to give up all my professional connections or my school in Los Angeles right away. My solution was to obtain my pilot's license and buy an airplane, a Cessna 172. I commuted by air 3 or 4 times a week until I eventually received tenure and moved permanently to Cardiff by the Sea in North County. I have become very attached to my SDSU students and totally committed to San Diego State University. The SDSU Jazz Studies program has flourished into becoming one of the best in the country. 2 weeks ago, I returned from a remarkable week in Germany. I was the guest of the German government representing the United States on an international panel from 18 other nations to assess the German jazz music scene, Jazz Ostdeutschland. I was in Berlin, Hamburg, and Bremen. I was asked for my opinions of the jazz programs at the major conservatories, various professional venues, and at the Jazz Ahead convention in Bremen, which is the largest jazz convention in the world. I must say the Europeans, especially the Germans, appreciate and support our original American art form in some ways more than we do in America. I met hundreds of musicians from all over the world, but we all had jazz as our mutual language. I was able to promote SDSU on an international stage that will hopefully open many doors in the future. Again, congratulations. Remember, you never stop learning. This is simply the beginning of the next phase of your education. Always follow your passion in life. Thanks.
We will now proceed to the conferral of the Masters of Fine Arts degree. The Masters of Fine Arts is the highest degree obtainable in various studies, applied studies of the arts. The MFA requires 2 to 4 years of concentrated study and the completion of a major literary, musical, dramatic, or artistic work. Today we recognize in a very special ceremony MFA candidates who have completed their studies in art and in theater. Mr. President, I now have the honor to present the candidates for the degree of Master of Fine Arts in Art and in in Design and Technical Theater. Candidates, please stand and come forward as your names are called. Masters of Fine Arts in Design and Technical Theater, Nao Kobayashi. Danita Lee. Anthony Paulin. Master of Fine Arts in Art, Ashley Fenderson. Valerie Hasty. Sam Lopez. Peter Scheit. Melissa Selbius. Hannah Smith. And Claudia Underdahl. And Mary Wilson. Mr. President, these candidates, having completed their studies, have been recommended by the Graduate Council to receive the degree of Master of Fine Arts.
Faculty, please come forward and stand behind your candidates. Upon recommendation of the faculty and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the California State University, I confer upon you the Master of Fine Arts degree with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Please hood our new colleagues. Everybody hooded? Is everybody hooded? Congratulations, Masters of Fine Arts. Please be seated.
We will now proceed to the conferral of the master's degrees. San Diego State University offers the master's degree in 78 different program areas, including the arts, letters and sciences, and in professional areas. Will the candidates for the master's degrees please rise and remain standing as your degree is called? The Master of Arts in Art. The Master of Arts in Communication with the specialization in Communication Studies. The Masters of Arts in Communication with the specialization in Mass Communication and Media Studies. The Master of Arts in Music. The Masters of Music. Master of Arts in Television, Film, and New Media Production. Master of Arts in Theater Arts. Master of Science in Criminal Justice and Criminology. The Master of City Planning. A Master's in Public Administration. And a Master of Learning, Design, and Technology. Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates who have completed the requirements for the master's degree. They've been recommended by the faculty and the Graduate Council to receive their degrees as listed in the commencement program.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the California State University, and upon the recommendation of our faculty, I confer upon you the master's degree with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Congratulations. Please be seated.
We will now proceed with the conferral of bachelor's degrees. In the College of Professional Studies and Fine Arts, undergraduates earn the Bachelor of Arts in Applied Arts and Sciences, Bachelor of Arts in Liberal Arts and Sciences, Bachelor of Science, and Bachelor of Music. Dean Gatters will present the candidates for bachelor's degrees.
It is my pleasure to introduce the December, May, and August candidates for bachelor's degrees. As I call your degree, please stand and remain standing. Bachelor's degrees in Art and Design. Communication. Health communication. Journalism, which is advertising and public relations. Dance. Music. Television, film, and new media. Theater. Hospitality and tourism management. Recreation and tourism management. Criminal justice. And public administration. Thank you. Please be seated.
I am delighted to recognize those students whose academic achievements have earned them the highest, outstanding scholarship. Students graduating with extremely high GPAs, cum laude, magna cum laude, and summa cum laude are listed in the commencement program. You may also identify those graduates who have earned our highest academic honor, summa cum laude, with the gold honors braid worn over their robes. Will all those students who are graduating with honors, cum laude, magna cum laude, or summa cum laude, please stand and be recognized. Congratulations. You may be seated.
Members of the class of 2017, as chair of the University Senate, I congratulate you on your achievement. President Hirschman, by action of the University Senate, the faculty approves and recommends awarding the degrees listed in the program. This is the moment of conferral, so all candidates for the bachelor's degree, please rise.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the California State University, and upon the recommendation of our faculty, I confer upon you the bachelor's degree with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. It is with great pleasure I present this diploma to symbolize the awarding of bachelor's degrees to the graduating class of the College of Professional Studies and Fine Arts. Congratulations. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce Mr. Quinn Owen, who has earned the distinction of Outstanding Graduating Senior in the College of Professional Studies and Fine Arts. A journalism major, Mr. Owen has already worked for national news organizations such as ABC, NPR, and NBC News. Earlier this year, he served as a junior staffer on the ABC News special coverage team for the presidential inauguration.
Thank you, President Hirschman, Provost Nwameka, Dr. Bober Michelle, and of course, Dean Gaddis. It's an honor to accept this degree on behalf of the graduating class of 2017. Now, at the end of the ceremony, after everyone's name has been called, we'll all move our tassels from the right to the left together. I'll come back up here. But first, I have one more really important thank you. It might get a bit sappy, but it has to be done. A special thank you to my mom, Marianne Owen, on this Mother's Day. And to all the mothers joining us today, I hope you're enjoying the ceremony so far, even though it means that you're sacrificing a day that's supposed to be about you for the sake of your kids, but it's a special day all around. As our moms have definitely realized, a lot is changing for us today. We're all about to embark down a remarkable diversity of career paths. And go ahead and sit down. I have a few words. We're all about to embark down a remarkable diversity of career paths. Some of us will become journalists. Others will, Others will make movies for a living. And some will even serve as officers in the armed forces. These jobs won't be easy, to say the least. And the nature of the professional careers we're launching today means dealing with people in dynamic and high-pressure situations. But we spent our years as students of professional studies and fine arts preparing to handle unexpected twists and turns. Part of that preparation involves lessons that extend beyond the classroom. Like right now, for example, I'm doing my best to channel some of those COM 103 lessons. And Professor Rapp, you can grade me on this and critique it all you want after I get my diploma. But it was more than grades that made Rapp's class especially valuable. It was the way he taught us how those communication theories showed up in our average day. His lectures revealed the mechanics behind interactions we'd often take for granted. Quizzes and tests are important, of course, but many of the valuable lessons that come from San Diego State are the ones that transcend the classroom and teach us to handle uncomfortable situations. If you ever drove erratically through one of these parking structures to make a class on time, if you ever spent a late night in the Love Library cramming for that last final, if you ever just got frustrated trying to coordinate a big group project, you were preparing for tomorrow morning. Because tomorrow we wake up as graduates and it's going to be a lot different. And whether we set off to report the news or create a film or even command troops in the military, we'll be confronted with more change and more challenge. But as we're seeing today, uncomfortable change brings new opportunity. We're turning the page on a new chapter today. That's exciting. It's also pretty scary. But we'll capitalize on the change happening today, embracing the lessons that extend beyond the walls of this school. And we will take on an uncertain future with the confidence we've earned as students of San Diego State University. Thank you and congratulations once again to the graduating class of 2017.
Well, I think you can see why, for me, commencement is the best day of the year, a day of pride and celebration. I hope each of you will embrace the joy of this day and give thanks to those who have supported you. You have accomplished much, and we're very, very proud of you. I wish for each graduate today what I wish for my own adult children. I hope that you'll continue to learn and grow, that you'll laugh and love, that you'll embrace a noble purpose in your life, and that ultimately you will develop to be the person you hope to be. Of course, as was just mentioned, This is a time of certainty. It is perfectly natural. Every day of your life is going to bring new and unexpected situations, but I can assure you that you are ready. You've accomplished much here, and you have the capacity to learn and to grow and to meet challenges that we cannot even envision today. And as your life and career develop, we hope you'll return often to your university. This is your roots. We will most assuredly welcome you back. You graduate today with our affection and our respect. We are deeply honored to have shared a part of your life and grateful for the part that you've played in the life of this great university. Congratulations, graduates.
Congratulations, Quinn, again. That was a great remarks. One of the finest college traditions is to be selected for one school as the outstanding graduate. In turn, these students select the most influential faculty member of their academic career. This reciprocal recognition is greatly respected. Let me introduce you to these fine graduates and the professors they have chosen. Please remain standing and hold your applause until all are introduced. Art, Charles Thompson and faculty member Bridget Gilman. Communication, Marissa Heckman and faculty member Kathleen Check. Health Communication, Caitlin Woods and faculty member Rachel Record. Hospitality and Tourism Management, Susanna Wiggins and faculty member Lisa DeFino. Recreation and Tourism Management, Matthew Foster and faculty member Jason Hemeds. Journalism and Media Studies, Quinn Owen and faculty member Amy Schmitz-Weiss. Dance, New Nguyen and faculty member Jess Humphrey. Music, Joseph Nelson and faculty member Shannon Keitlinger. Public Administration, Giovanni Garcia and faculty member Patricia Fozio. Criminal Justice, Jocelyn Melendez and faculty member Alan Mobley. Television, Film and New Media, Annette Rainey and faculty member Stuart Votilla. Theater Arts, Ralston Jotai Fraser and faculty member Peter Larlam. Please be seated. Each year, a single graduating senior from all of SDSU graduates is acknowledged during commencement ceremonies for his or her demonstration of innovation. This year's awardee is a PSFA senior. At this time, I'd like to introduce Peter Zahn, president of the Moxie Foundation, who will present the Zahn Spirit of Innovation Award.
Good morning, graduates, family, and friends. I'm president of the Moxie Foundation, and my father, Erwin, who founded our foundation, is a passionate entrepreneur. Through his journey, our family came to deeply value the spirit of innovation. And we believe that the entrepreneurial spirit is the most powerful tool in the world, and those who exhibit will, in fact, change the world. Now, let me be clear. We're not talking about entrepreneurs who necessarily bring a new product to market. We're talking about people from all majors and all backgrounds who approach everyday problems with creativity, resilience, and relentless passion. Those who lead with integrity, those who set goals and don't let anything get in their way. It's in this spirit that the foundation established a special award for one graduating student each year across the entire university. The Erwin Zahn Spirit of Innovation Prize is awarded to someone who exemplifies the entrepreneurial spirit, though likely doesn't consider himself or herself as an entrepreneur. So I'd like to invite Anthony Berteau from the School of Journalism and Media Studies to the podium. Anthony is this year's recipient of the Spirit of Innovation Prize. Anthony, let me tell you a few things about Anthony. He is bold and he is persistent. He has a big heart, but he does not shy away from controversy. He's an activist and a journalist. Anthony writes about important social and political issues, including damaging stereotypes, racism, anti-Semitism, climate change, discrimination against women. When he arrived at State, Anthony joined the Daily Aztec and got a regular show, also a regular show on KCR Radio, a show that continued for 4 years. That show continued. He became the Huffington Post campus editor, and his written work has appeared in the Washington Post, the New York Post, USA Today, and other publications. Anthony has been interviewed on CNN International and BBC World Radio. Bill Maher had choice words for him during one of Maher's New Rules. Anthony is also a frequent public speaker. He's made several visits to Israel and the West Bank, addressing topics such as social justice and public policy, all while carrying a full-course load. In this day and age, our world needs more people like you, Anthony. So I'm pleased to present the Irwin Zahn Spirit of Innovation Prize to Anthony Berteau, along with a check for $25,000. And Anthony, we hope that these funds will help you get further down your path so that nothing gets in the way of following your dreams. Congratulations and thank you for inspiring all of us to change the world.
Wow, congratulations, Anthony. That's great. We're very proud of you. I'm very pleased now to introduce your SDSU Alumni Association representative, Mr. Gregory Smith. Greg is the Director of Property Management and Operations for Progress Management in San Diego. He oversees the operation of more than 7,200 apartment units and more than 3,000 storage units. He is the former Assessor Recorder County Clerk for San Diego County. After being appointed in 1983, he was subsequently elected to 7 additional terms. He has been retired from public service since 2008. He is an alumnus of the School of Public Affairs and served as an adjunct professor of public finance in the school for 23 years. He remains actively engaged in the School of Public Affairs. Welcome, Mr. Smith.
Let's get this party started, shall we, guys? Let's get going here. On behalf of more than 300,000 alumni, including Jack McGrory and Adam Day, I want to welcome you to the fantastic Aztec Nation, the greater Aztec Nation. We are pleased to honor you on your commencement day and salute you. The class of 2017 has already left an impressive legacy. Nearly 4,000 of you have already made donations in excess of $50,000, double his gift, to support future students through various student scholarship programs. You have been given a distinguished commencement cord that you proudly wear on this special day, this one right here. So please stand up and be recognized, you outstanding donors. Please, please. Oh my God, look at this. Unbelievable, unbelievable. Aztec power. Now let's everyone keep standing. Everyone stand up. Everyone stand up. Now we're going to let's everyone stand up. We're going to take this opportunity to get some energy out. to thank those in the audience who have helped you get where you are today. Please locate your parents, your spouses, your significant others, your family, your friends, people who have helped you either financially or emotionally during these last several years. On the count of 3, we are going to say thank you loudly, passionately, with great gratitude and love for those who have made this journey along the way with you. Now, let's bring this house down on the count of 3. 1, loudly. 2, with love. 3, thank you. Aztecs. Please keep standing now for the singing of the Alta Mater by Amanda Ola, beautiful Amanda Ola. The words of our alma mater may be found on page 4 of the commencement program. Congratulations to all of you, you mighty, mighty, mighty Aztecs.
Montezuma, we with loyal hearts our homage pay, proud working and glorying in the spirit of the Aztec name. To thee, San Diego, and our fond traditions, old and new, our tribute raise of lasting praise and a steadfast faith. Hail Montezuma.
Okay, please be seated. Now we're going to have a very special presentation to commemorate the exciting events of the past year. They'll be up on your screen. Wasn't that a great review of the experiences that you had last year? You gotta love this place. So as we prepare to recognize our graduates, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge a change that is happening in our administration. Like all of you, President Hirschman is making a transition as well. His San Diego State legacy will include all of you, but also a record-breaking campaign and commitment to student success. On behalf of all the faculty, staff, administrators, students, alumni, and donors, please join me in thanking President Hirschman. So we're coming to the next important part of this ceremony. I'm going to excuse the President's Party and thank them in a moment, but I asked Grand Marshal Dr. Bill Snavely to come to the podium because he's going to explain to you what we're doing next. So please thank the President's Party as they depart.
Now we're going to get to the good part. This is the moment we've all waited for, and so we would like to individually recognize each of our graduates from the College of Professional Studies and Fine Arts. Earning a college degree takes years of hard work and sacrifice and dedication. So I ask now that we all share in the joy of walking across the stage to be recognized for this achievement. Now, out of respect for your fellow graduates and their families, we ask that you remain for the entire ceremony. At the end, the official tassel change will follow the name reading ceremony. We will acknowledge the undergraduates first. Master students will be hooded following the recognition of the undergraduates, and then we'll have the tassel change, and you can move on as graduates of San Diego State University. So I ask you to please return to your seats following the reading of your name and crossing the stage. It is my pleasure at this time to introduce from the School of Communication, Mr. William Fallon and Dr. Charles Gehring. My colleagues will introduce each of the graduates from each of the schools in the College of Professional Studies and Fine Arts. Mr. Fallon.
New win.
What's that say?
Ralston Jote Fraser. Joseph Matthew Nelson. Susanna Colleen Wiggins. Annette Rainey. Charles Thompson. Matthew Foster. Caitlin Woods. Marissa Heckman. Giovanni Garcia.
What's your name?
Jocelyn Melendez. Anthony Bertreau.
Am I reading all of this right now? Yeah.
Graduates in Public Administration, graduates with a bachelor's degree in the School of Public Affairs. Jorge Diaz. Ralph Vincent Relador. Dennis Jones.
Eric Dredla.
Jack Basalone.
Nancy Farfan.
Amanda Parker.
Charles Chinquanco.
Bradley Truesdale.
Connor Christ.
Victor Tehran.
Chelsea Vexland.
Colosimo?
Caitlin Colosimo.
Matthew Caro.
Andrew Amato.
Ryan Hicks.
Zachary Deerdorf.
Anthony DiSordo.
Elsa Isabel Montez.
Cameron Nicole Spizak.
Carly Brownell.
Johanna Rose Fernandez.
Garrett Craighead.
Mark Alex Seeger.
Michael Jorgensen.
Sean Blum.
Stephanie Pinedo.
Jacob Preuss.
Jordan Spencer Newman.
Jonathan Vasquez.
Jason Pers.
Brandon Pers.
Chelsea Crisostomo.
Michelle Madero.
Hollinger?
Lynn Hollinger.
Luis Mendoza.
Andrew Oldar.
John Aceto.
Nia Renee Williams.
Erica Rodriguez.
Gerardo Zamora.
Miles Tang.
Connor James.
Kwame Badu.
Oscar Gomez.
Fatima?
Juliana Oninyate.
Fatima Serda.
Katia Alatrist.
Patricia Trahin.
Mercedes Guerriero.
Donald Trewong.
Robert Marsters.
Nicholas Padilla.
Eliezer Abramowitz.
Matthew Vaughey.
Iman Monique Gibson.
Nashwan Doda.
Ryan Thomas Ripley.
Daisy Molina.
Christian Cito Rodriguez.
Berenice Pineda.
James Doolittle.
Leviticus Johnson.
Christina Charlton.
Victoria Grace Sahid.
Vianney Huerta.
Mercedes Garola.
McKenna Garfien.
Hoyos?
Arturo Hoyos.
Elia Barcian.
Carmina Ruelas.
Rocio Robles.
Abraham Camacho.
Sergio Hernandez.
Celine Rios.
Jose Perez.
Concepcion?
Nicholas Concepcion.
Eddie Ray Tena.
Guimont?
Lance Guimon.
Graduates in Criminal Justice. Stephen Cornwell.
Ryan Nislight.
Aaron Stinson.
Jake Roth.
Robert Corona.
Sarah Tresser.
Selena Bubion.
Oscar Butler.
Daniel Cunningham.
Geronimo Gomez.
Riley McNamara.
Fedi Faltaus.
Emma Christine Booth.
Trisha Otto.
Jason Russ.
Bianca Cardenas.
Adam Joyce.
Boar Karim.
Amber Budwani.
Jacqueline Edwards.
Terry Hartley Thomas.
Heather Poliza.
Go, Heather. Go. Go.
Brian Lee Cho.
Lionel J. Anastasio.
Eric Skinner.
Lou.
Christina Nicole Liu.
Daniel Enright.
Sabina Dillon.
Andrea Marie Reyes Foster.
Reba Andrews.
Devin Whitlam.
Julie Pasquale.
Jillian Lynette Jordan.
Kathleen Damian.
Lemuel Pilapil.
Andy Bang.
Jason Valet.
Shannon Lord.
Irvin Emmanuel de los Reyes Caldiano.
Victor Manuel Beltran Jr.
Marvin Clariza.
Ashley Arvelo.
Roberto Flores.
Philip Lee.
Yvonne Aha.
Jordan Sanchez.
Ralph Pastrana.
Tyler Bajer.
Luke Dutton.
Madison Yeaman.
Ryan Bajer.
Alexandra Hundle.
Julia Williams.
Melissa Arsabe Trujillo.
Jamie Ridgway.
Kathleen Ann Hupkey.
Kelsey McGill.
Brooke King.
Melanie Rose Igus.
Megan Katenmark.
Juanita Ruiz.
Flavia Krause.
Zaira Zamora.
Romel Georges.
Sylvester Soria.
Richard Ingram.
Samantha Dixon.
Lane Thomas.
Rebecca Ruiz.
Leslie Amaro.
Sierra Stillwater.
What's that say?
Justin Samaniega.
Gian Laxina.
Nagel.
Nick Nagel.
Justin Burns.
Lelia Fitzgerald.
Miguel Ortiz.
Maricela Pacheco.
Rafael Machuca.
Ivan Garcia.
Roberto Devor Garcia.
Jonathan Christopher Hardy.
Shelby Simrock.
Raul Camacho.
Jesus Ramirez.
Jinhee Kim.
George Zamro.
Jose Castro.
Misael Cabrera.
Alyssa Paraíso.
Reynaldo Velasquez.
Armando Laguna.
Cameron Charles Box.
Lauren Clacy.
Brett McQuillan.
Arturo Enriquez.
John Aziz.
Austin Clark.
Andrea Velasquez.
Taylor Reed.
Sylvia White.
Julian Victor Lopez.
Lauren Michelle Bunn.
Brianna Peliquin.
Omar Cadena.
Colin Ryan.
Taj Johnson.
Jessica Lomas Stevens.
Alexis Veronica Lara.
Ivan Zepeda.
Joseph Heredia.
Luciano William Silva.
Jessica Cobb.
Taylor Francisco Estrada Young.
Anthony Campos.
What's that say? Brienne?
Samantha Brianne Vlot.
Francesca Angeline Orlando.
Ibrahim or Ibrahim?
Lawrence Ibrahim.
Maharba Baez.
Beatriz Hernandez.
Courtney Love Williams.
Jacqueline Ellis.
Joseph McClintock.
Eduardo Ceja.
Carlos Del Carmen Romero.
Fetera Dadi.
Elisa Alcala Nunez.
Hyun Lee.
Bryce Dickard.
June Kim.
Sam Dyer.
Kyle Corns.
Jacob Riley Ross.
Kristen Stonebreaker.
Zoe Alexis Price.
Jacob Hummel.
Emily Eichner.
Hannah Parvin.
Benjamin DeVries.
Mikhail?
Adrian Mikhail Pierce.
Julio Munoz.
Priscilla Durazo.
Danielle Marinez.
Carolina Rivera.
Evaluz Lopez.
Michelle Fregoso.
Jessica Gonzalez.
Anna Guerrero.
Jose Razo Ortiz.
Felipe Orozco.
Miguel Reyes.
Vincent Nguyen.
Christian Quintana.
Jaylene Victoria Fierro.
Angelica Jeanette Marquez.
Savannah Chavez.
Deja Renee Mange.
Olympia Valentin.
Stephanie Perez.
Courtney Williams.
Aaron Maris.
Saavedra.
Anna Saavedra.
Cynthia Garcia.
Leslie Reyes.
Allison Hall.
Kelly Hoffman.
Cassandra Fernandez.
Valentina Masood Henko.
Melina Habib.
Felipe Diaz Curiel.
Shiar Yakub.
Chris Gomez.
Gladys Perez.
Jose Gonzalez.
Omar Valle.
Jake Hartford.
Nayeli Gutierrez.
Raquel Nunez.
Melissa Gonzalez.
Frankie Castellanos.
Earl Evan Fischel.
David Estrada.
Myra Linares.
Noemi Munoz.
Alexis Castro.
Hung Do.
Alan Atisha.
Eddie Alvarez.
Ezekiel Navarez Mejia.
Nicholas Hernandez.
Vanessa Cerda.
Danira Munoz.
Janet Leonardo.
Janet Sanchez.
Gina Gonzalez.
Elizabeth Jektian.
Natalie Cardenas.
Joanna Garcia.
Jeremy Capon.
Samantha Meidinger.
Joshua Ochoa.
Jordan Sanders.
Stephanie Osuna.
Wendy James.
Eric Julian Bonilla.
Joy.
Alessandra Joy Morales.
Simon Rosales.
Lauren Broyles.
Rhett Andrew Pitcock.
Claudio Christian Escobar.
Sergio Mora.
Geraldo Gonzalez.
Eliane Miranda.
Brianna Alvarez.
Reem Yonis.
Miriam Risco.
Riva Oraha.
Jessica Herman.
Janice Santos.
Leanne Garcia.
Brad Hawley.
Rudy Cordova.
Jeffrey Wilkinson.
Nathan Seki.
Abby Rachel Hoffman.
Corina Lutz.
Brian Michael II.
Brandilius.
Dylan Brandilius.
Marissa Lopez.
Aaron Tesh.
Tran Vu.
Kendra Bennett.
Stephanie Renee Gosen.
Adrian Antonio Acosta.
Jessica Contreras.
Marco Oliveira.
Philip Lomax.
Malik Smith.
Naeem McGee.
Isabella Costa.
Viviani Costa.
Graduates with a bachelor's degree in the School of Art and Design. Anna Ayala.
Kimberly Pierce.
Shane Osagera.
Ryan Suge.
Lauren Kokula,
Sean McDowell,
Troy Guard,
Raya Ann Masarwe,
Gabrielle Brambila,
Alana Phillips,
Nicholas Josue,
Duqua,
Adam Flores,
Ricardo Gonzalez,
Christina Carsa,
Jasmine Jackson,
Molly Mancuso,
Joel Loeffler,
Israel Hale,
Carolina Karen He,
Courtney Allred,
Jessica Cordova,
Jessica Kowalski,
Lauren Ito,
Ian McKelvey,
Christopher Doliente,
Jaime Bokiter,
Oscar Aranda,
Neftali Diaz,
Melissa Vasquez,
Spencer Brandt,
Jonathan Flores Perez,
Elizabeth Martinez,
Caitlin Carr,
Jasmine Dongon,
Melissa Nguyen,
Kiana Elliott,
Monica Hampton,
Elide Vargas,
Tui Vo,
Stephanie Gabriel Bonnet,
Lisa Evelyn Flores,
How do you say your last name?
Elliot Napoleon,
Mario Gabriel Rodriguez,
Danielle Catherine Manzano,
Lauren Bennett,
Robert Lawson,
Anthony Remington,
What's that say?
Laura McElfresh,
Candice Robles,
Ana Dalila Nahera Morga,
Myra Franco,
Caitlin Riley,
Yamel Grijalva,
Jessica Gutzman,
Jordy Lutsky,
Evie Veronica Lopez,
Patrick Canlas,
Fu Hui,
Sydney Rivalin,
Kimberly Kenelang,
Kailu Zhang,
Jenna Aronson,
Natalie Orozco Tatenko,
Megan Christine Ellsbury,
Katie Russell,
Is it Carolyn?
Arlette Corelli Pereira,
Itzel Ruiz,
Natalie Celeste Terada,
Karina Contreras,
Gaida Alisiri,
Morgan Simpson,
Isla Sekamet,
Alexandria Jones,
Samantha Estrada,
Zui Lee,
Brooke Dye,
Ileana Perez,
Ruthie Doldmalak,
Kira Jackson,
Jesse Aguilar,
Kevin Baudouin,
Kimberly Hom,
Audrey Lee,
Kiku Fukushima,
Mariko Sango,
Leanne Ludwig,
Jessica Van Ruten,
Stephen Truitt.
Ashley Anderson.
Megan Acera.
Richard Anthony Lopez.
Aaron Gonzalez.
Barbara Gonzalez.
Kyle Crusoe.
Eric Loveday.
Vanessa Seguro.
Diego Contreras.
Josiah Hueso.
Alejandra Arredondo.
Natalia?
Natalia Chaira.
Rodrigo Jimenez Ortega.
Joseph Converse.
Nathan Holdridge.
Nuestro?
Danica and Nuestro.
Hannah Lingleville.
Veronica Dow.
Allison Zuniga.
Jessica Placencia.
Jose Guadalupe Lopez.
Jennifer Cooksey.
Jolie Mateus.
Brina Workman.
Beverly Monroe.
Angelina Regalado.
Rachel Young.
Jordan Coker.
Michael Lindenmuth.
Kyle Francis.
Mario Alberto Saldana II.
Christian Andrews.
Sarah E. Natalie Mora.
Rebecca Chacon.
Jeremy Reyes.
Caitlin Cheng.
I can't read it.
Valeria Ceja.
Corey Mitchell.
Carrie Mitchell.
Elise Nguyen.
Paulina Crisostomo.
Alexa Pettit.
Andrew Nguyen.
Vanessa Mendoza.
Paula Savage.
Zoe Avalos Wilson.
Shelby Buska.
Evelyn Jarvis.
Kao Sechao.
Sarani Vang.
Laudi Gutierrez.
Kent Tobago.
Tomoko Burke.
Luis Urquidez.
Kyle Ray Zimmerman.
Jordan Esquera.
Shirley Sang Lao.
Jesse Espejel.
E. Lee.
Jiai He.
Karen Lynn.
Alkadim?
Lena Alkadim.
Xiaowen Wang.
Jasmine Torres.
Nikki Thipsidakom.
Jonathan Lowe.
Rory Sarmiento.
McCordle?
Ryan Picardle.
Monique Webier.
Natalie Fleming.
Graduates with the bachelor's degree in the L. Robert Payne School of Hospitality and Tourism Management. Graduates in Recreation and Tourism Management.
Sean Hill.
Priscilla Aguila.
Jimmy Highland.
Victor Manuel Ortiz III.
Daner?
Jesse Daner.
Ricardo Salcedo.
Tiana McWhorter.
Shannon Coyle.
Melissa Parker.
Daniel Folletta.
Sean Jacobs.
Adam Lang.
Marcus Kindelt.
Ian Tveit.
Tori Jones.
Tyler Wheel.
Victoria Barber.
Ali Graves.
Olivia Hunter.
Majane Giera Dill.
Sophie Ingalls.
Nicole Jekyll.
Stephanie Nicole Rose DeVos.
Tanner Utler.
Michelle DeVore.
Maria Gonzalez.
Graduates in Hospitality and Tourism Management.
Alexandra Horrell.
Samantha Jones.
Sarah Bullat.
Rebecca Carter.
Aziz Alnoys.
Michelle Fingerlin.
Marin Tyler.
Nicole Holliday.
Kristen Fett.
Cassandra Gessley.
Kim Lamb.
Olivia Juliana.
Edwin Waikurian Rivera.
Nicole Brunholz.
Allison James.
Brianna Chipito.
Christine O'Donnell.
Madeline Jasenia American.
Rachel Lamke.
Jamie Sia.
Kirsten Yamashiro.
What's that say?
Fiona Beach.
Shyla Eads.
Scarlett O'Brien.
Brittany Carney.
Emily Giorgione.
Sophia Pollock.
Pauline Annabelle Bescone.
Courtney Brown.
Katarina Lund.
Rose Bryant.
Rebecca Barron.
Clarice Gutierrez Manabat.
Dustin Packard.
Monica Socorro Ganando Bolaños.
Takamasa Nomi.
Danielle Foley.
Kimberly May Robles.
Harper Schoenfeld.
Alexandra Hill.
Courtney Elizabeth Williams.
Melissa Nichols Ruhel.
Jordan Lampy.
Tina Diaz Noguera.
Gary Lau.
Taylor Pitasi.
Lauren Ruth Cuneo.
Sarah Marie Allen.
Sarah Alexandra Worthington.
Cody Tyler Emerson.
Kong Nguyen.
Angelica Santoyo.
Trong Gat Ban Nguyen. Sandra Rodriguez.
Graduates in Dance.
What's your first name?
Artemia Davis.
Jeremy Zeta.
Kelly Patterson.
Megan Kelly.
Akaban?
Ashley Akaban.
Mariah Upstupski.
Tim Seaman.
Annie Lee.
Stephanie Ann Esparza.
Chelsea Knutson.
Graduates in Music.
Rita Murphy.
Erwin Makapas Ritua.
Carly Newman.
Joshua Andrew Osei Stewart.
Stephanie Ishihara.
Nathaniel Main.
Ivan Ochoa.
David Kroll.
Paige Jasky Koptish.
James Kastecker.
Daisy Kiner Kopp.
Zachary Nager.
Caitlin Woodruff.
Jonathan Veloz.
Justin Joyce.
Luis Enrique Aguilar.
Bryce Benjamin Johnson.
Sierra Johnson.
Dominic Leake.
Christine Choi.
Lionel Charles Avila.
Jennifer Shee.
Paulina Beverly Flores Castro.
Nico Nobleza.
Chance Geraldine Galvan Valdez.
Melanie Medina.
Marshall Cross Canute.
Daryl Dean Wood III.
Geraldine Chow.
Jessica Jordan Hubbard.
Jillian Rose Jackson.
Amanda Olea.
Jay Sanchioli.
Tanya Gutierrez.
Alexander Patterson.
Kevin Lomas.
Donald Wiseman.
Graduates with a bachelor's degree in the School of Journalism and Media Studies. Graduates in journalism.
Brendan Maliki Prednis.
Jordan Lynn Maffey.
Jimmy Jensen.
Kiana Dumagan.
Anna Conkey.
Jacob Sandoval.
Kelsey Golia.
Jolene Lambert.
Michael Turley.
Roberto Reyes.
Lindsay Jimenez.
Christopher Keel.
Anthony Lee.
Janelle LaFond.
Lainey Fraser.
What's the last name?
Anthony Reclusado.
Adriana Haldiz.
Kayla Jimenez.
Andrea Lopez Villafaña.
The graduates in public relations.
Jamie Ballard.
Christine Whitman.
Michaela Takara Doshane.
Nicole Hansen.
Alexa Ray Michaels.
Amber Connis.
Stephanie Celeste Mira.
Alexis Cassie.
Veronica Valdez.
Vanessa Sanchez.
Michelle Chapman.
Brittany Shayna Zeigen.
Maria Carolina Martinez.
Michael Liu.
Ariana Teresa Romid.
Kara Schneep.
Kiana Malikzadeh.
Chandler Burke.
Valeria Hernandez.
Brittany Polk.
Anya Rydell.
Cassandra Kawala.
Allison Bodden.
Vanessa Berenson.
Amanda Tran.
Riley Joachms.
Shannon Menard.
Jessica Santos. Jasmine Nicole Edwards.
Dayla Kegley.
Albert Colombo.
Cassidy McLean.
Vivian Nguyen.
Melanie Denise Ramirez.
Victoria Perez.
Bailey Akins.
Sarah Reiko Trenholm.
Joy Antoinette Brown.
Maria del Carmen Huerta.
Mei Zi Ung. Melanie No.
Graduates in Media Studies. Catherine Wilkes.
Emma Shea.
Amanda Rivera.
Anamia Monhe.
Jenna Toppin.
Carla Rausio. Michael Johnston.
Graduates in Advertising.
Gabby Schwartz.
Nicole Gilmore.
Alyssa Knowles.
Jordan Cannoli?
Jordan Cannoli.
Damaris Treviso.
Morgan Atkins.
Claudia Pinedo.
Teo Niegabon.
Melissa Ann Artobello.
Jesus Alberto Dominguez Valdez.
Chloe Salsamido.
Dakota Binkert.
Fernando Solis.
Joshua Holmes.
Emma Roxanne Moses.
Emily Nguyen.
Sumire Shimamura.
Georgiana Doan.
Yasmin Aranas de Garcia.
Sabrina Shahawi. Victoria Abate.
Graduates in Media Studies. Jacqueline Previs.
Hey, congratulations.
Matthew Van Court.
Zach Tagatak.
Thea Haushan.
Joyvi Ariel Gunga.
Natapon Titatan.
Lisa Stefanian.
Jessica Louise Myers.
Tatiana Rizzo.
Rachel Haydock.
Cassandra Ferranta.
Annalise Richardouli.
Liliana Cervantes.
Rachel Johnston.
Trene LaBranche.
Valentina Dungy Movica.
Joanna Montoya.
Bertolato?
Natalie Bertolato.
Fidel Alejandro Cadena.
Sergia Macedo.
Angela Hauser.
Ashley Fenner.
Lauren Ledesma.
Bianca Atik.
Elizabeth Bradford.
Janae Shuto.
Lillian Deasy.
Nancy Moeller.
Tabitha Villegas.
Jocelyn Salas Weiser.
Amanda Oppenheimer.
Brianna Roback.
Devin Kaysen.
Joyce Connie Santos Magistrado.
Ashley Lawson.
Shelby Mann.
Nikki Tuck.
Shayna Cudler.
Sarah Walsh.
Allie Meyerowitz.
Emily Alvarenga.
Colin Reinschel.
William Mason Riggs.
Shuyan Lung.
Tong Lee.
Graduates with a bachelor's degree in the School of Theater, Television, and Film. Graduates in Theater Arts.
Xinyu Chiao.
Savannah Anastasia Roll.
Kelsey Christina Lynn.
What's your first name?
Kaylin Christopher Campbell.
Carter Piggy.
Jessica Lim.
Wilfred Paloma.
Jasmine Haywood Daly.
Taylor McGee.
Amy Marie Alvarez Holland.
Olin Trejo.
Jacob Sloan.
Evan Galliano.
Aaron Gabrielle Vanderhyde.
Megan Maddox.
Dan Dans De La Torre.
Tom Holy.
Steele Severson.
Sean Boyd.
Alexis Picorni.
Jessica Graham.
Emma Kathleen Faulkner.
Taylor Lowe.
Help me with the last. What's that?
Michael Ekema Nordella.
Samuel Rodriguez.
Benjamin Gray.
Brianna Anderson.
Melissa Ballard.
Alexandria Kathleen DeMarco.
Sydney Wilson.
Alexandra Ibarra.
Delaney Thiss.
Jasmine Choi.
JC Lynn Aldridge.
Stephanie Kashik.
Siri Ding.
Michelle Aguilar.
Kowalewski.
Sasha Kovalevsky.
Danielle DeBoer.
Lizaraga.
Itzel Perez Lizaraga.
Nadia Ramirez.
Michael Tiong.
Kevin Hoffman.
Vidar.
Ellis Vidar.
Bionica Bullard.
Graduates in television, film, and new media.
Casey Cook.
JC Dara.
Ari Lerner.
Ethan Garcia.
Brian DeGore.
Guy Martinez.
Benjamin Howard.
Trina Twee Pham.
Tayo Oyekan.
Miko Ramos.
James Hall.
Nathaniel Velasco.
Lauren Hines.
Valeria Miranda.
Devin Kane.
Amanda Sherman.
Erica Lynn Von Novak.
Ryan Lancaster.
Itzel Russo.
David Estrin.
Laura Stephanie Wells.
Alejandra Guerrero.
Christian William Carey Anton.
Kelsey Whitfield.
Lucas Hespenhyde.
Jonathan Tesfahon.
Estefania Panto.
Christian Troncoso Flores.
Chris Itwa.
Petramilli.
Jeff Petramilli.
Andrew Bahena.
Ali Sayed Habibullah.
Destiny Unique Satterfield.
Diana Garcia.
Michael Joseph Saline.
Say your name, please.
Furqan Shafok.
Gloria Gomez.
What?
Michelina Midama.
Fong Pham.
Fatma Alflij.
Jacqueline Kegi.
Aubriana Rice.
Francesca Torres.
Brenda Marie Chand.
Hannah Elise Yoshioka Lambert.
Jasmine Stith.
Eric Johnson.
Connor Berzinski.
Samantha Capinos.
Bayron Diraz Rivera.
Demetrius Johnson.
Andrew Kaplan.
Eduardo Lopez Torres.
Ryan Kiambo.
Christian Hicks.
Isaiah Moore.
Jose Zacharias. Kima Mockberry.
Graduates in Health Communication.
Christine Balicoco.
Janelle Ronquillo.
Brianna Bridges.
Jasmine Jefferson.
Janice George.
Janelle Kirkcaldy.
Kayla Romani.
Dion Rafael Brown.
Angela Ann Epsioko.
Marvin Yanka.
Amanda Sobihana.
Riciel Saldana Sobreo.
Rima Hannah Daniel.
Michelle Ann Castillo.
Emma Johnson.
Angela Ramona Bolaños.
Catherine Rowland.
Marissa McKelvey Patch.
Aya Tuglu.
Shannon Finnegan.
Michaela Ann Vesey.
Courtney Price.
Alita Graham Lehman.
Patrick Gonzalez.
Carly Donahue.
Jenny Marie Santos.
Jessica Faust.
Hershey Blue.
Samantha Roper.
Joshua Pupping.
Jenna Bennett.
Kaylee Jane Cadrez.
Andrew Michael James Wong.
Niksha Federico.
Graduates with the bachelor's degree in the School of Communication. Graduates in Communication. Ahmed Alnam.
Brittany Foudy.
Michelle Monaco.
Anais Bartlett.
Frank Heelis.
George Hamilton Penns.
Heidi Herschel Datimas.
Denny Kramer III.
Christine Dowsend.
Samantha O'Brien.
Emily Cooch.
Trent Joseph Miera.
Syra Charna.
Brent Tito Williams.
Olivia Strauss.
Dustin Elliott.
Janelle Castro.
Juan Martinez.
Jonathan Magno.
Kelsey Mayrand.
Franz Janelle Jimenez Manalansan.
Jennifer Bishop.
Daniela Ramirez.
Ngozi Magina.
Kelsey Lickert.
Michael Orona.
Courtney Hall.
Tyler Warren.
Cecilia Zaccarelli.
Tiffany Ann Gear.
Melissa Minerva Pacheco.
Cameron Lyons.
Joel Meza.
Casey Ballard.
Kylie Turner.
Tiana Williams.
Alexandra Perna.
Jazzy Owens.
Nancy Ruiz.
Sherry Hill.
Shauna Smith.
Breon Brittany Lee.
Dominique Conyes.
Samantha Brito.
Denise Burciaga.
Darius Miller.
Brian Maureen.
Jessica May.
Destiny Ajane King.
What's the last name?
Nikita Larson Packer.
Ashley Macasa.
Rebecca Jewell.
Anessa Graytalk.
Haley Ludwig.
Aaron DeLiva.
Lauren Lance.
Nicole Killar.
Gallardo or Gallardo?
Zach Gallardo.
Stuart Hansen.
Victoria Maiko Sager.
Christopher Straker.
Kimberly Montgomery.
Duncan Rains.
Alejandra Alcaraz.
Kenya Keynes.
Mitchell Sepulveda.
Jacqueline Palumbo.
Barnaba?
Francesca Jean Barnaba.
Jennifer Aguilar.
Lauren Ashley LeClaire.
Martha Dominica Clack.
Jaylene Elijah Ignacio.
Julia Michelle Hasal Polito.
Araceli Guadalupe Chairez.
Christina Ama.
Enrique Serrano.
Olivia Brooks Bonilla.
Brianna Lurie Avalos.
Alyssa Lewis.
Taylor Crawford.
Ashley Ramos.
Roxana Gutierrez.
Darlene Schrenke.
Christina Torres.
Alexandria Johnson Goldspring.
Tawny Aaronsburg.
Danielle Monteverde.
Sarah Porath.
Derek Hess.
Marion Ruiz.
April Marie Bailey.
Laura Michelle McLean.
Angelica Rose Wins.
Tabassum Hushman.
Abdul Jabbar Mahmoud.
Melissa Bilby.
Alexandra Talaro.
Ashley Brophy.
Zena DeChoso.
Jennifer Kester.
Robbie Sanders Good.
Carly Brooke Manzo.
Katie Santos.
Kennedy Davis.
Jennifer Rupee.
Ciara Brown.
Danielle Bolden.
Imani Holly.
Stephanie Roman.
Rachel Casamasa.
Scarlett Kaolanui.
Alexander Ellison.
Nick Noble.
Veronica Ortiz.
Emily Ofiana.
Natalie Vivaldi.
Chantal Edelstein.
Naima Sanchez.
Dagan Loie Pollock.
Javier Alejandro Inzunza.
Ivana Tafoya.
Mika Davis.
Randy Lamb.
Rua Mameza Marcos.
Alexis Aspathia.
Nicholas Lidster.
Mishait Mulugeta.
Aaron Antrim.
John Paul Whaley.
Anissa Francisca Sanchez.
Giovanna Raquel Castro.
Marisa Reynoso.
Tina Lisa Silva.
Anthony Joel Noriega.
Lacey Arnold.
Matt Hoffman.
Timothy Wing Strauss.
Lindsay Marie Smith.
Hannah Langlow.
Mary Kristen Nelson.
Alyssa Diane Luna.
Lindsay Morgan Zimmer.
Erica Mangione.
Caitlin Larson.
Elizabeth Robles Cho.
Orlando Gallon Barboa.
Sarah Morgan Noland.
Yuri Nakanishi.
Yui Akiyama.
It's been a long time. Congratulations.
Anthony Thomas Lee.
Kristen May Barangan.
Savannah Blizzard.
Imar Kano.
America Newell.
Cassandra Pellegrini.
Adriana Millar.
Riley Cabral.
Dahilig?
Kiera Lynn Dahilig Brendo.
Natalie Rangel.
Kelsey Moore.
Jenna Pretty Shield Aguilar.
Shawnee Caligari.
Persephone Sanchez.
Jordan Monroe Rankin.
Cara Del Conte.
Stephen Schrader.
Andrew Fraser.
Christopher Mark Russo.
Tyler Rogers.
Cole Zerboni.
Davis Marriott.
Ronald Wilson.
Asha Nefertari Al-Shabazz.
Sarah Ryan.
Amber Nicole Castillo.
Daniel Young.
Haley Naomi Peterson.
Taylor Hopt.
Connor Boyd.
Carly Carapella.
Rebecca Doyle.
Elliot Jason Tucker Lee.
Elliot Jason Tucker Lee.
Ryan Robeson.
Ruben Gonzalez.
James David Williams.
Max Rogers.
Courtney Powell.
Maya Sarin.
Madison Jane Shapiro.
Jack Pizzo.
Andrew Van Voy.
Grace Melvin.
Alexander Cecil.
Nikki Smith Wynn.
Amber Hanna.
Liana Leininger.
Hazel Sippin.
Maria Salazar.
Rachel Ann Nangyo Evangelista.
Isabel Trong.
Elena Tenalia.
David Rodriguez.
Jody Fung Mai Pham.
Carla Reynoso.
Marcela Diaz.
Adrian Alonso.
Brianna Williams.
Yui Oyazo.
Rachel Chung.
My middle name. It's phonetic.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. You can do it.
Mahealani, patience. Kaha now ilima ihui iameke ia kama lani nani iho o komko ia me kama kana o ke aloha Yoshida.
Artist diploma in music. I'm with the graduates. The graduates are starting now.
Okay, so it's graduate students now?
Yes.
Are there still bachelors?
No, it's master.
We will now begin with the master's degrees.
Artist diploma in music. Rafi Mikaeli.
With the Artist Diploma in Music, Rafi Mikhalian.
Yiting Wong.
Yinhee Rachel Park.
Paul Thomas May.
Philip Gomez.
Gregory Anderson.
Abigail Weaver.
The graduate with the Master of Arts in Studio Arts, Sylvia Castro.
Graduates with a Master of Education in Learning, Design, and Technology.
You ready?
Kristen Lashane Duncan.
Leopoldo Lopez.
Steve Cummings.
Daniel Virgen.
Steve Slichtenmeyer.
Amber Monroe.
Jody Bernhardt.
Ida Hassan.
Monique Estrella Ayala.
Liesel Madrona.
Lauren Vonderhaar.
Christina Rodriguez Arias.
Graduates with the Master of Arts in Communication with a specialization in Mass Communication and Media Studies, Philip Chitty.
Lieutenant Jamie Candice Seibel.
Lieutenant Matthew Stroop.
Justin Smith, United States Marine Corps.
Cassandra Gasecki, Marine Corps.
Lieutenant Commander Ryan Lovejoy de Vera, United States Navy.
Elena Gomez.
Major Caleb Eames, United States Marine Corps.
Lieutenant Commander Matthew Kroll, U.S. Coast Guard.
Graduates with a Master of Arts in Theater Arts, Kimberly King.
Rachel Mink.
Caitlin Shambaugh.
Melissa Hawkins.
Graduates with a Master of Public Administration, Sarah Gould.
Kelly Gillen.
Jessica Jensen.
Ariel Lauren Roberts.
Safina Ahmed.
How do you say your first name?
Andrew Vordahl.
Adriana Hernandez.
Lisbeth Pastenes.
You gotta do it like you did for undergrad, like I was playing for the Lakers. All loud.
Matthew Joseph Griffith.
Daniel Rashad Horton.
Dylan Cooper.
Malin?
Samuel Atau Chu.
Jasmine Mallon.
Sierra Graves.
Kelly Quinn.
Sylvia Paz.
Alexa Evans.
Alexandra Metz.
Graduates with a Master of Science in Criminal Justice and Criminology. Juliana Diaz.
Sarah March.
Logan Crandall.
Tori Ruiz.
Ingrid Moreno.
Anna Escobar.
Lorenzo Angara.
Ted Lee.
Zeb Navarro.
Delone George Maruki.
Max Ellerin.
Masha Landau.
Jose Osvaldo Morales.
Paloma Perez.
John Lee.
Travis DeBoer.
Chad Tillman.
Gabriella Olson.
Eva Heater.
Bernice Tate. Jennifer Ekblad.
Graduates with a Master of City Planning, James Davison.
Katya Dillman.
Diane Foote.
Emma Lake.
Tina Camera.
Courtney Armashevitz. Hector Salgado.
Graduates with a Master of Hospitality and Tourism Management.
Go ahead. Go.
Jamie Lynn Spector.
Isan Safar Baya.
Diana Kajabago.
Zachary Honshield.
Graduates with the Master of Arts in Communication with a specialization in Communication Studies, Darren DeVillas.
Justin Perkins.
Markel Law II.
Taewook Ham.
Chelsea Reed Chapman.
Alec Slade Baker.
Will Riley Silberman.
Allison Doherty.
Emily Kaiser.
Courtney Hook.
Colleen Santamaria.
Chandler Ray Alford.
Danisha Biggers.
Renee Kevin.
Jacqueline Corrales Huerta.
Jason Crane.
Derek Jacobsma.
Nate Wu.
Andrew Cleason.
This is the moment you've been waiting for. For the tassel change ceremony. This platform party will recess, and students, please look to your marshals on the floor for directions when you exit. I'm very happy now to bring back to the podium Mr. Quinn Owen, who will lead the class of 2017 in the tassel change ceremony. I ask all the undergraduates who are seated on the platform to come and surround Owen. So all the undergraduates that are on the platform, please come down and surround Owen. So Quinn will do this.
Thank you, Dean Gaddis. Fellow bachelor's degree candidates, please stand. It's customary at this time for all candidates to move their tassels from the right to the left, symbolizing the moment of graduation. Please join me. The platform party will now depart, and I declare these ceremonies complete. Thank you all, and congratulations. All right.